Welcome to the Sound Mind Strategy Podcast with your host, Evan.
And Anina Blankenship.
This podcast is aimed to be an in-depth discussion between husband and wife power couple where we take on challenging topics in the mental health and wellness arena.
By trade and training, I'm a licensed clinical social worker, certified professional coactive coach, USA Cycling National Champion, and I love to push my limits, both physically and mentally.
As for me, I am currently in a master's program for sport and performance psychology, where I'm also on track to become a certified mental performance consultant. I've also been coaching athletes for the last 5 years, helping them reach their truest potential.
We're both very passionate about athletic performance, mental skills training, spirituality, and we love to take a holistic approach to helping people find harmony in their mind, body, and spirit.
We believe that there's greatness inside of everyone. Our mission and the mission of this podcast is to help you unlock and operate within yours. Hello, everybody. Welcome back, or welcome to the Sound Mind Strategies podcast. Happy to have you back. This is another wonderful Sunday afternoon for recording. I know these go out on Tuesdays, but we like to sit down and come together and just have our talk on Sundays. So how you feeling? You got any updates for us?
Well, I do. So I'm in week 25 today, which is perfect since that's our episode that we're on. So a lot of it is just the goal right now is to get baby up to 2 pounds, is what my baby book says, or 1,000 grams. And yeah.
Very specific, 1,000.
I know, right? And, the book just keeps saying, if the baby were to be born now, it can breathe on its own.
Yeah.
So
that was a cool update last week for
it was
full viability. I know that takes a little pressure off, a little stress, I guess, reduced.
It does. And feeling pretty good right now. Yeah.
That's great.
It's a nice feeling. Enjoy the sweet spot.
Anything that like really stuck out to you on like over the week, or any of the readings for you?
Not really. Just it is talking some about like, the diabetes and stuff like that can come about. And I know I'll have that checkup with my doctor in a couple weeks.
You have your glucose
the glucose test
yeah.
and everything. Yeah. So it's just kind of saying some signs to kind of be watching for right now.
Cool.
So that's about it though, really, is like as I start week 25 today. So each day will unfold something new. So that'll be kind of cool. I love that part of this book. So yeah, what's your book saying?
Yeah, my book, it's really kind of neat. Gives a little hospital bag checklist, just different things to be aware of that you might want to, remember to bring to the hospital with you. So there was some good stuff in there. Just to remember, something to read, a Kindle or books. Don't forget your phone chargers and, different things for mom, post-delivery and stuff like that. And then other cool stuff about the baby. It says, kind of so right on track. You had goal weight. So this one's saying weight is right about 1.5 pounds right now. Mm-hmm. And how long is he? He's supposed to be around 13 inches long. So getting there. And it says he's starting to fill out. So all the wrinkles are starting to decrease. So that means he's starting to get a little bit of body fat. Capillaries are developing and filling with blood. And same thing, just that he's fully viable, and the lungs are getting ready to be able to take their first breath. So
nice.
Yeah, really cool. And just different things for mom that maybe you got to be mindful of to be able to get the calories in.
Right.
But to eat maybe smaller meals and more frequent, just because that the uterus is growing. So discomfort may come if you try to have normal, the three normal meals. Yeah. So, and then still to try to get the extra calories needed. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's really cool. We did have blood work done for you. They were checking for anemia and
thyroid,
and everything came back really good for you. So,
yeah, it was basically like, you're pregnant, just suck it up. You're going to be tired.
Well, I think that we made the right call, just because everything that we were reading was saying, like,
I should have more energy.
Energy should be normal, which, I mean, you're fine. But, I think everyone always questions, like, oh, you're doing this on a plant-based diet? Like, oh, you're not changing? Like, no. And so this kind of satisfies us and them, gives everyone peace of mind that, like we are being thoughtful, being, that you can do it. So the plant-based diet is adequate for any stage of life, pregnant, developing and elderly and everything. So it's that's cool.
That's really cool. I will say one thing I did forget to say is that I did this week I am to be counting the baby's kicks.
Yeah.
It was very clear in saying
what's the number?
10 kicks in every 2 hours.
Okay.
And it put very clearly can't count hiccups, which I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even
Your hiccups or baby hiccups?
I guess baby's hiccups, which
How do you know the difference?
That's what I was wondering. I was like, okay. Like I said it like a couple places, no hiccup counting. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. How am I going to know the difference? But there's like this app I have on my phone that the doctors gave a pamphlet out on that says like count the kicks. So you just open it up and then each time you feel a kick, you press it, the button, and then it just keeps running the time. So you can look back and see if he's kicking enough. So yeah, that'll be kind of cool. I know this weekend I was like, Evan, why is he not kicking?
Well, was it Thursday? Thursday we went out and got some dinner somewhere, and
oh yeah,
he was just like moving like crazy, right?
Like, when I ate that kale salad, he was like,
yeah. And then
thank you very much.
Then the very next day, you're like, Evan, what's going on? He's not. I was like, I have no idea. I don't know. But
I'm like, make him kick.
Yeah. Can you kick, little dude? Put her at ease. But yeah. So he's moving around yesterday and moving some today. So
yeah, that's been
doing
cool.
Well. So yeah, we took a little trip. We left Friday afternoon. Just got back kind of mid-morning
today.
And went did BT Epic. So big mountain bike race in Steelville, Missouri. And it was fun. It was packed, just tons of people. They sold out the event. Like you have to register back in July, and like you have to set a timer and get up and register like within a few minutes. Like it fills up just literally that fast. So
yeah,
this was my second year doing it, and last year, like I think that was my third or fourth mountain bike ride like total ever, and then coming to this year, I did ride a little bit more, but not like a ton. I still spent a lot of time on the road. But man, I was like a completely different rider. Tons of confidence and just had a great attitude about it, and had a really, really good time. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there because I know it's going to find its way. I did miss a turn, but
I am human. I missed a turn.
Yeah, well, it was no big, like I went back and I was like, okay, they must have been just like one little arrow pointing to go, just because there's this just over halfway, there's like you pop out on this gravel road and then it shoots you back into some single track stuff, back into the woods. And I was like, okay, there's only got to be like one arrow. And nope, I went back after I turned around. I added like 7 miles onto this route. And no, there was about 100. No, it was a lot of arrows like pointing in. I had just passed some friends of ours, and I was like looking behind me and like kind of looking under my arm to see if they were coming with me on the gravel road. And so I was distracted and not looking straight ahead, and must have blew right by.
Yeah.
But I went to go, have a lot of fun, because it was definitely not an A race. It's like, to me, it was just go ride, and it's a ride that has a time associated with it. So I was not racing, even though I was given a score and number and all that. But I had a lot of fun, and my confidence was way up. My skills were not awesome, but they're definitely way better than what they were and have been. So I really enjoyed it. Had a good weekend.
And you, if I just want to interject real quick, you shared some great information with me on what kind of helps you be like confident out there. Obviously, like getting on the bike more, but I know you said too, just like paying attention to each thing, each obstacle in front of you, but not like focusing on all the different obstacles that can come across. When
Yeah,
you're
different
riding.
things like looming. Okay, just for reference, this is a 50-mile mountain bike race.
Yeah.
And the fastest guy was just under 4 hours, which is screaming fast. People like a big benchmark to say, wow, that was a fast day is 5 hours. And then a lot of people are coming in 6s and 7s. When I blew by that and went back, like I was on pace for a 5-hour day. Like whether or not I would have got that, I don't want to speculate. A lot could have happened. But where I was mileage wise and the amount of time and what was left, I was on pace for 5 hours. Added 7, almost 8 miles, ended up finishing at 5:40. So that's pretty close to say I would have probably done it in 5. And that was pretty fast. I think like to break 5 is a really good accomplishment, I think, on that course. We had some friends of ours that we actually stayed with, and 2 people that had been there for many years. This was their first year breaking 5 hours. Must have been fat. Everyone said it was really like the trail for I don't know if people mountain bike or not listening to this. Sorry if you are bored, but like if it's really dry and the top of it's kind of loose, sometimes I think it's not as fast. I don't know. Like I'm definitely not like a mountain bike aficionado, but the men and women set new course records, and the number of people that went under 5 hours, 4 hours, 4.5 hours, like people were setting, it must have been fast. The weather was perfect. I mean, it was
so
very,
nice.
very nice.
It
was good.
But yeah, I liked how you kind of shared. You just took one step at a time and didn't overthink.
Exactly. I was very conscious of that too. Just like I was flowing very well. I wasn't going too fast for my comfort zone. Like if people wanted to pass me, I let them pass me. If I needed to pass people, I would just wait and find a spot and pass. But I just let the day kind of come to me. That's one of the guys that we stayed with. That's kind of what he was saying. Hey, just relax. Let the day come to you. You know, that was his mantra. And I just kind of took that on, and every rock, every route, every turn, I was there. Like I had made some big errors last year, and I was like waiting for those places. And I'm like, you know what? You'll deal with that obstacle when you get there.
Right.
Deal with this one right now. Be in the moment here. And, you know, this is one of the things that we talk about a lot is mindfulness and being present, because you can apply that to anything, just being present and dealing with right now. And man, that helped so much. Missing the turn did trouble me. It did kind of derail me a little bit, but then I was like, okay, are you going to quit? Which that's up to you, or are you going to finish? And once I made the decision and the commitment to finish, okay, get back in it, make the commitment, be here, be present, and just, you know, you can go back and you can chop that out and see where you would have finished. And, you know, but I think I did good. I was happy.
I think so too. That was really cool.
Yeah. So no, it was a lot of fun. Yeah. And I just want to give a humongous thank you to Linda for staying with Cooper over those couple of days and dog sitting for us, and I guess house sitting as well. And man, he's just wiped out, and he had so much fun, and she kept sending updates on how he was doing, and
took him to like a really fun like Team Rev like Olympic thing they put on, and said he did a really good job. So we felt like proud parents that we had a good report.
And it was very nice to not have to worry, because no one trusts Linda, and you know, it's
you know, he's in good hands.
Yep. Just let us kind of focus on what we were doing and not have to worry about that.
Yeah. That was so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So congratulations to JP for going under 5 hours. Congratulations to Bree for breaking 5 hours.
Yeah.
It was fun to hang out with everybody over the weekend.
It was so fun.
Yeah. You guys are shredders, and I want to be like you one day.
Awesome.
Yeah. So another little update, like tonight, what do we got planned?
Oh yeah, we have our church is having an 80s
80s themed
like date night.
Yeah.
So we're gonna like pull out the tight rolled jeans, side ponytails,
bright colors, and,
right,
all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so that should be fun. We should hopefully.
So we got that going tonight, and
and then do you want to just get right into our?
Well, yeah.
Oh gosh.
One thing.
Oops. Yeah, right.
One thing, really quick. Cannot.
That's right. We cannot not do this.
Okay. Since we were driving, and this one just makes a little sense. Okay. I've got a great joke about construction,
One of your dad jokes, right?
but I'm still working on it. Yeah. Pretty lame, but it worked. Little one-liners. Some of them are good. Some of them are not. I guess they're all kind of not good, but some of them are not gooder. I don't know. It was fun. Okay, so let's get into it. What's the conversation of the day?
So today we're going to talk about the 4 pillars of our business, Sound Mind Strategies, and really the 4 pillars meaning the different types of people we want to work with.
Yeah.
And so it took us some time to really figure out who these people were. Because at first it was kind of like, oh gosh, we don't want to disinclude anybody.
Right.
So yeah, that was a little bit of a challenge at first, but had a great conversation with one of our friends, Brittany, and she just talked about like, where do you guys shine at? Like that's where you have to really devote your time and attention to. There's somebody out there for everybody. You can't be that somebody to everybody. And that just really like was so helpful.
Yeah. I think you can be, but it doesn't do you or all of the clients any justice. I mean, you're going to just be spread so thin. There's going to be some people that really excite you, and there's going to be a lot of people that are just kind of like draining and consuming and pulling of energy, right? Rather than being able. So, yeah, it took a little bit of time. Like we kind of knew, like we've gone through these things and with coaches before, just like, all right, who's your ideal client? Who do you want to work with? But then on the other side of it, right, this is a brand new business, or it was a brand new business. And, when you're like, I got to make money, right? Because it's still a business. And at some point, you just got to come to the conclusion of like, it's got to pay the bills, right? So, and who does that? Clients. So if I start saying, well, I don't want to work with this person or that person's not my ideal, like, what do you do? How do you draw that line? So it was interesting.
It was really helpful to like kind of just narrow that down. And so do you want to say like what those 4 pillars are?
Yeah. So we'll just name them first, and then I guess we can go through and kind of like talk a little bit about each one and why these 4 main groups, pillars, categories made our list. Mm-hmm. That's where we want to focus on. Okay. So the first one, the athlete. Then we have the nutritionally minded, or those wanting to make a shift, change, alter their nutrition habits. Mm-hmm. The third one is the entrepreneur or the career changer. And then the fourth group would be the struggling relationship.
Yes.
Do you want to take us? We don't have to do those in any certain order. Is there one that you kind of want to start with?
Yeah, I'll start with like the relationship one.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So really what we're looking for there, just actually for all 4 of these, are really highly motivated people, which I think is important to acknowledge.
Yeah, just like you said, that itself right there is a qualifier to work with Sound Mind.
Yes.
In itself. The individual must be highly motivated.
Yeah, exactly. And I think just to clarify too, it's like not that, you have to have it all figured out and know all the pieces to the puzzle, but yeah, you actually want to like make some changes. So that's
willing.
Key.
Just willing to make change, willing to try, willing to put in effort.
Yes.
Very cool.
Because we know we both worked with clients before where it's just kind of been pulling teeth the whole time. And it's like, okay, this is not helpful for anybody. So relationships, Evan and I being married for over 12 years have been through a lot of different just changes in our relationships and growing together and then feeling like we're growing apart and just really having to figure out where that balance is for us. And so we do know that through those experiences we've had, we've learned a lot, and we've gained a lot of knowledge. So we really feel compelled to work with those folks who are in relationships, whatever relationship. I mean, it can be a friendship, it can be a family, a marriage, whatever it may be, but to help them really figure out like what's going on, where is this disconnect happening at, and so it can be a one-on-one or it can be like a couples type of session as well. So
yeah, I think this one's really interesting, and it's neat that you picked that one to start with, because it's not just one person, because this one relies on both parties being willing and being highly motivated. Like they have to be able to say like, this isn't where we want it to be. We want to save the relationship. We want to save the ties. Like there is a bond between us that we want to salvage. We want to progress. We're not where we want to be. And like you said, it can span so many things. It can be within a family structure, parent and child. It can be parents. It can be husband, wife, or any kind of partner relationship. Friends, like I think that's very important. Like it's not always magical. Our relationship is not magical. It's not like, oh, we found the right one. Of course, we believe that, but I don't care how good of the right one that you think you are. If you don't put work in, it's going to crumble.
Right.
Because it's just our human nature to be selfish and to not always think about the other person and their needs and their issues. So, and we didn't always have the right answers. Like we did work, we read books, we talked with those that have gone before us. We learned from other people's mistakes, and it's a passion of ours to make sure that our marriage was first.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really took a lot of work. And I think it was interesting that, we're just now, like Anina said, 12 years into the marriage, and we're just now having our first child. And there was many years where we kind of were understanding that like, maybe children isn't for us. Like we were I know some of our parents disagree, then they put the blame on one or the other or whatever. But, we were very much in line with like, I don't know, like things are good. Like maybe we aren't going to.
Right.
And then there was a big period where we wanted to have children, and then it took too long, and then just like whatever. And then we're very, very excited to find out that we were. But
yes,
all that aside, we put work into our relationship, and relationships are very important to us. Our friendships, our family relationships are very important. So it just takes time.
It takes
dedicated, meaningful, thoughtful work.
It does.
And we want to be there to be able to help people figure that kind of stuff out. Doesn't mean that we're going to have all the, follow, these steps and your marriage is perfect, but there are some key steps that should be in there.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. Like that one really excites me on a different level because as much as I love seeing victories and people win things or whatever, like with the athlete, we'll get to that one. But when we see relationships strengthen or rocky relationships become solid and stable again, that lights me up more than anything.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's really rewarding because it's, it's hard on everybody when they're rocky and not going the way they want. So it's just, it's neat to see them come together like that.
Most of the time, it's a lot of internal work. It's true, and that's the part of like where both parties have to be willing to say, I need to change, instead of just being really good about pointing out the other person's issues.
That is very true.
Yeah, if that's you, if you identify with that, if that's something that you see as in your life, maybe think about it. Have that conversation with the other party of the relationship, no matter what that relationship is. And, if you guys need help, want help, please reach out.
Let us know,
So number 2, I guess I'll just go up the list backwards. The entrepreneur, career changer. So this one's fun because this was me, kind of is me. That person who is not satisfied with the career path that they've chosen, like maybe it was something that sounded very stable, sounded maybe not even exciting, just like I'm going to make good money, but it doesn't really light me up, and that's fine. Or maybe they thought it was going to, but it's not. And it doesn't have to be about making more money or doing this big, huge, grand thing. It's just about that passion within you to be able to do that thing that brings joy, it brings meaning, it brings purpose
Right.
to your life. Or that entrepreneur that you have that thing inside of you that you just need to get out to create, that you have a solution for a problem in the marketplace. If it's to create something, to some kind of product, some kind of service, if you're a creator, photographer, whatever, how to launch your business, and you just don't know the exact steps to make or how to make that transition where you feel safe, you feel kind of taken care of, because like we were talking about at the beginning of this, you got to make money, and how do we make that transition? How do we step from something stable now that you're in that doesn't necessarily fulfill you to the thing that does fulfill you, but it's kind of shaky, rocky, unsure.
Right.
How do we make that transition? So what we like to do with people in that area is to set up very strategic plans of action to get you there, things to make you feel very secure, very safe, very thoughtful, but to move quickly and to move into that and step into that with some real precision and purpose.
Yes. Yeah. It's a cool place to be in too, because I know we've all been in those jobs, or at least the majority of us, where it just feels very, you just kind of go through the grind every day, but it just doesn't feel like it's your calling or where you want to be in life, So it's kind of neat to see that
like
too.
same thing. Like I wasted, I don't want to say wasted. I spent a lot of years, several years, when I had made the decision that I didn't like where I was at and I wanted something different, to actually doing something about it. Took some very strong prodding from you, but it's just, that's what it came down to. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have like a real desire or understanding of what I wanted to do, or the big thing was I didn't know how it was going to play out. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I was kind of nervous and toiled with all that fear of, well, I don't want to disrupt the family structure and deplete all this income and the way that we were used to living life, the things that to be able to travel or do this and do that. How many times a week can we go out to eat, or all these different things that we are accustomed to now as a family? Now we can't do that because I want to make a change. I'm not happy.
Right.
And it's being okay with that and trusting the family structure. If she says she supports me, then she supports me.
Exactly.
And we had that conversation several times about like, it most likely will be rocky for a little while, but I'm with you. And I heard it, but it took a long time for that to sink in and trust it. Not that I thought she was lying, but I just, I didn't feel secure in that.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, this makes me think about how inaction is still action, right? Because it's like, you're still not doing anything, but it's like, you're still taking an action, which is nothing. So it's like,
so true.
Yeah. Such a neat reminder too, just to think about how that process can unfold and how we can go around that mountain over and over again until we
I got a buddy who,
change.
He used to do it a lot more, but he still does. He will send me these ideas of things he wants to create, and he gets these. I think some of them, and this is kind of the way with any person who wants to create something or make something or solve a problem. Not every idea is awesome, but no idea that gets no attention is any good. So the one,
right.
So you have to put action behind them. And so he comes up with all these ideas, and it's just like, I love to just work with him a little bit on that and say, okay, what's the next step? What's the next plan? Great idea. Let's condense it. And because a lot of times what we do is snowball them and grow them and grow them and grow them. It's just like, no, make it small. Let's make it viable. What's the next plan of action? How do we make that viable? And then we can start to grow it and think about phase 2 and 3. But right now, let's just make this one real. And he's got so many great ideas, and it's just like, come on, let's do this.
Right.
I mean, you do that. I want to help you, but like, that's your thing. I mean, you're so creative and thoughtful and imaginative and can understand problems in a way to create very interesting solutions to them.
Very true.
So
yeah.
He's going to do it.
Support.
And I'm going to get on him. And so
you're going to see an awesome invention out there one day soon. And then the next one we have is moving on to nutrition. And
that's a cool one.
Yeah, that is a cool one. I think especially because we've transitioned, from just the regular American diet to
the SAD diet.
The
standard American diet.
Yeah, that's right.
And it is actually very sad.
Right.
When you look at the effects of
it, right?
The SAD diet.
The SAD diet, yeah. But yeah, so just from us being vegan, 5 years now.
Yeah, it's going on 6, something like that.
Somewhere,
I don't know, I forget.
Yeah, you start to lose count, but it's been
a while. Yeah,
it's been a while, exactly. And so yeah, it's just kind of neat to see the different transitions we've made through nutrition and how it's affected our minds and our bodies, and even athletic performance too. We've seen a change as well. But just to know too, like we understand how it is to go through a process of change and how it can be hard and how we're so deeply rooted in what we've been taught and what we've believed just growing up as kids, that this is what you always have on your plate. And also some of the criticism that comes from, family members or friends, or just kind of the, just kind of feeling like you're left out and everybody else is, enjoying like, I want to say like enjoying their food because I feel like we do, but it's kind of like
I completely do.
Yeah, it's like you're limited in what
they try to rub it in that they can enjoy it and we can't, and it's coming from this idea or mentality of lack or strictness, right?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes when you go to places, like whatever, just different meal gatherings, how it can be hard for everyone at first. Of like, well, what are you guys eating? What can't you have, and what can you have? But it changes, and I feel like we've had families who have really like been just really helpful and like aware of how we eat and make those different changes when we come over to eat too.
Yes, I will say there was a handful of family members on both sides, yours and mine, that have completely embraced us and our eating styles. Not that necessarily that they've adopted it. I do think that there have been some that have made some changes, but not like full plant-based like we are. But
that's okay.
Yeah. And I want to make a huge, this is a giant, huge asterisk within this is how we personally eat into the difference of sound mind strategies and the coaching and the stuff. So by no means is plant-based requirement to work with us on a nutrition change. Like, I don't want to push my ideas and my views and my opinions of anything on any client. So if you're looking at your plate and want to make changes and unsure on how to make those changes, and you have ideas of what you think, how you feel, and what you think the ideal plate looks like, we will work with you on how to get there. I'm not going to say you need to take this portion of your plate and create and put this on it, and you need to have such and such percentage of this. I have a lot of knowledge in that, and I have a lot of understanding in that. I'm not saying I'm a nutritionist or dietitian,
right?
And neither is Anina, but we come up with strategies for you to make those changes and ways to feel good about it, ways to feel secure about it. We have yes, this is the way we eat now, but we've, over the years in our athletic adventures and our diet changes, I've been tweaking and changing and playing with diet for a long time, way before I even met Anina and did that. So I've gone through all the phases, like as I was lifting weights and as I was got into some of that area, and then transitioning to an athlete, endurance athlete. And we've tried paleo, and I've tried this and tried that. And so nutrition and high performance and clean eating has always been on the forefront, and reading research, not like bro science, just anything found on the internet, but like real scientific literature on nutrition, not just like backed by that industry to make it look great. But, so I have a lot of insight in that, but I love people making healthy changes, because I feel that if you're going to make any change, if you're going to leave meat and dairy and eggs, all that in your diet, which I don't care. That's fine. That's you. You do you. But when you start to make better changes, you're going to see more colors come in. You're going to see more greens and purples and, like, so you're going to incorporate more fruits and vegetables. And to me, that's a win-win. If you're still having meat as part of your plate, that's fine. Like we're going to start to see those changes just in overall health. Like we'll have those benchmarks, like you can go get blood work. You're going to see weight loss. You're going to feel better, and your joints are going to feel better.
Exactly. So many things tied to it.
Yeah, I really wanted to make sure that was understood. Like, well, I don't want to give up meat. Like, okay, it's not a requirement. And definitely, like we said, the requirements are be highly motivated and have an idea of where you want your change to take, how you want to change to happen. And we'll work with you. Like, you as the client are the ultimate expert.
Exactly.
And we take a lot of the coaching principles and strategies and methods that we understand and help you find solutions. We're not going to give you answers. That's not the way this works.
Coaching works, right?
So you as the expert, we will get there to a place that you are 100% happy with. I mean, ultimately. So yeah, it's really kind of neat. And I really wanted to make sure that got said. So do you have anything else that you need to want to continue about the nutrition piece?
No, I don't think so. Okay. I think that's it.
Yeah.
So our last one, is that the last one? Yeah.
The athlete.
Athlete, yes.
Yeah. So the athlete, we've talked a lot about athletics for us personally. That's a huge staple of who we are, things that we work with and deal with. So how does the athlete pillar come into Sound Mind Strategies? So the athlete is the athlete, right? And their performance, their current level of performance is where they're at. They obviously want to make improvement. They want to see, faster times, faster speeds, improvement in their weight, whether it's lifting weight or body weight, composition. Some athletes want to gain weight, some athletes want to lose weight. So however this applies to you across any sport, the whole spectrum of sport and athletics, if you're couch to 5K, like if you've never run a mile in your life, but you want to start running, the idea of being an athlete is inspiring to you, you qualify as the athlete just as much as the person who is aiming for a spot on the U.S. Olympic team or whatever country you would fall under. I don't want to limit this to any one category. This is the same way as no specific eating pattern or diet plan fit within the nutritionally minded to qualify to work with us. The same thing is true within the athlete. There's no ability level or anything that's a qualifier.
Right.
Just as we said, the only qualifier is what's your ability or your motivation. Like what scale of ability doesn't matter. And I said, well, what's your ability? So sorry. Oops. No, but it's really the only qualifier is what's your motivation.
Yes.
What's your level of motivation to get from where you are to where you said you want to be? Like how willing and how hard are you willing to work? So, if you want to go to the Olympics, and that's a real possibility for you and you're like right there, or, do you just want to improve? Like, I don't really, there's some improvements for me. It's all about just my personal improvement, or I want to lose weight. I want to start running. I want to start writing. I want to start doing fill in the blank. I'm not sure what to do next. That's where we come in. So to me, that's the athlete. And I don't, just like we said, like, I think some of my favorite ones are the couch to 5K, quote unquote,
so neat to
kind
see
of
that.
athlete. Like, just, I want to be the athlete. I really want to make those changes. I've never run before, but maybe someday I want to run a marathon, or maybe one day I want to do 100-mile bike ride, or I want to get into the gym. I want to get toned. I don't know what to do. Like, we can work with that. And that's like,
Yeah, and you have a great like exercise.
Yeah, I have a background in exercise science
yep.
and strength and conditioning, and I've coached athletes and specifically cyclists and some runners over the years. But it's really not about the science behind it. Like, yeah, I'm still taking on some athletes, and I've had actually a couple people reach out in the last week or two about coming on as an athlete and doing like actually where I'm writing structured workout plans for them. But in terms of sound mind strategies, I'm not doing that. We're working on the mental piece. We're working on the mind. We're working on that space between the ears.
That is true.
Yeah.
But it is nice that you have at least an understanding of the body.
Yeah. And I think that's very important because, that mind-body connection, and when the body starts to feel bad, then the mind can feel, and then vice versa, you can really understand a lot, like we've worked with the couple athletes about that, and just like get a debrief on kind of I wasn't coaching this athlete from the workout piece, but able to listen and understand what they were going through, able to say like, okay, let's start thinking about this, and how do you feel? Or, so that really helped to be able to break it down and understand where they were at within like an overtraining, overreaching,
right?
Which was which, and how to decipher that. That really helped, and then kind of came to an understanding, and I think it really paid off.
Yeah,
saw some really important improvements after that. So
yeah, and I think I have a passion too, and thank you for sharing that, to work with athletes as well, just because I know how hard it is to get to a spot where you want to be, and just the mental skills, the mental practice you have to put into place to get there. And I also know what it feels like to not have any goals and to feel like overweight, and that you're not happy with your body, but it's like, I don't like where I'm at, but I want to be somewhere else, but I don't even know how to get there, And so, yeah, I know how that feels too. So I think just having that, my own life experiences through those things too, helps me just to feel more connected, just more empathic towards people who are going through those changes or wanting to make those changes too. So being on both ends of it, I feel like is really helpful and very serving to the people we work with.
Well, yeah, I mean, just like you said, you've been there, I've been there. I came back from injury, major injury, a couple times, surgery and stuff like that. And one was kind of, I knew I was going into it. The second one, but the first one, I mean, man, that really took me by surprise and had some lasting effects. But I also got to see how important that mental piece was to more than the actual physical rehab, that mental rehab, to be able to put yourself back out there, to make yourself vulnerable again as an athlete, and to pursue improvement, to pursue change, to pursue all those things. It was hard, but it was so rewarding. And I literally came back and had some of my best results after that. And I had some of my best, and results aside, I had some of my best just physical ability, which was very important to see.
Yeah, that was. You're right.
And then just same thing with the national championship, and where you were in a mental headspace pre, during, and post, and kind of how you got to see the ebb and flow of when you were practicing the mental skills and when you weren't. And
right. It's very evident.
before you started it, and then actually even when you kind of, challenge, victory, success, taper off, and then start to see all those old things creep back in, right?
Mm-hmm. Very true. Yeah, it's kind of incredible what it looks like when you're not practicing and when you are practicing those mental skills, or what your coach and you've been honing in on the important things for you to work on too. You can tell when you're not doing it, you're not practicing it fully. So, yeah, I think that's like really sums that up.
Really, why'd we pick these four?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah.
Okay. I was
those are the four. those are like the four main pillars that make up who we want to reach, who we want to see, who we want to spend our time with, who we want to invest our energy and our love and our thoughtfulness into, like in our coaching into.
Yeah.
Why those four?
I think for me, it's just that understanding of like, that's where I really shine. I feel like those are the people and areas of life where I really shine because of just having those experiences. And not that you have to have those experiences to like be a great coach at it. I don't think has to be the case, right?
Agree.
Yeah. But it's just those areas that we're just very passionate about, or I'm very passionate about, of helping people in those different parts of their lives, just because I know how it feels to be on, both ends of it. And so to me, that's just a population that feels very like, it's very rewarding and very fulfilling to me to work with. And I think that's part of what we talk about with the career change, entrepreneurship, of just finding your sweet spot where you feel like you really can shine. And that's, for me, those are those areas with those people.
I agree. Like if I take a look back at my personal life and just say, what are the big chapters? What are the big things that kind of like define who I am and my life experience? Those would be chapters in my book, right? My constant desire to improve my plate, being nutritionally minded, kind of being that forever athlete. It's taken many forms, but I've been a forever athlete, right? Am I the best at anything? No, but I'm in constant chase of personal improvement. And then the career change and the entrepreneur. We started a business. We've just birthing this business and not being happy in certain places and being able to step away and being okay with that. It was very difficult, but that also defines me. And I've learned so much about myself, about just life through that.
Yeah.
And then the relationship. We've been in struggling relationship. We've been in thriving relationship. And not just marriage, but, within family, with friends. We've had that conversation on the podcast before, just kind of like how friendships ebb and flow, and how some of them are for a season, and how they, just like a great marriage, need work. I mean, any relationship does. Like a relationship with my mom and dad or my brothers, like they need work to thrive. They need work to be fresh and have a strong heartbeat, right?
Yeah.
So you got to exercise them. And that really kind of defines who I am. And that's why those made my list. And I know that's very true with you. And that's kind of why we wanted to put our energy in these four spaces. Could we take on and coach someone that wanted to work on something completely different, or even in this area with low motivation? Of course we could, right? Their money pays bills as well, but it's not about the money. It's about investing in people that are willing to invest in themselves, and it hits that sweet spot for us. Like you mentioned that phrase, that's our sweet spot. And then it took a while to say, I don't want to like tell them no, or
it did, yeah. And
it's not about telling them no. It's just saying, hey, I would love to work with you, or I would love to see improvement in your life, but I know someone that would probably,
because that's not my strength in that area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so just acknowledging that, and it just came to me too that I don't think either one of us mentioned this, but even relationships with ourselves, I think that's a huge one, because
that self-care and
that
self-love,
self-care, exactly, self-love, having the confidence and believing in yourself, that's another part of a relationship.
No, that's very important, because if you don't get that me time, then that other relationship's going to suffer.
Exactly. And that kind of,
you're bringing in just worn out, tired, low energy,
and that would kind of come out, I'm sure, as we would get into that coaching piece on that
absolutely,
a lot of it is how you're treating yourself too, and what you see for yourself. So,
I remember, I think this is from a friend of yours. She gave a really good analogy about coaching.
From Sarah.
Like, so the pizza place, and like you look around town, like here in St. Louis, like there's a ton of pizza places. How do they all keep their doors open? Right? Well, they have different different styles, different prices, different toppings, different methods, different ways to reach different markets, different locations. So they all have a little niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I like this one because it's close. I like this one because their crust is like different, you know? So it's like, it's different for everyone. Like, well, I want to drive right by 3 of them to go to my favorite one.
My favorite one, right.
And that's okay because other people are going to drive by the one you like to go to the one they like.
Exactly.
So
like there's space for everybody.
There's space for everybody. And Pat Flynn, who does a bunch of podcasts, and I've learned a lot on different things like that. He kind of says like there's riches in the niches, and that's really kind of gave me this sense of like being okay, and more than okay, actually pursue having a niche, because you hone everything down and refine everything to a point of that you can really concentrate on something you really, really and absolutely know and understand, and don't worry about the rest, because there's going to be someone with a niche that fills the void left and right of you, right?
Very true.
And we're all in this place, we're all in this space together, and if we're doing our job correctly, all we want is empowerment and improving the lives of the people that we work with.
Very true.
And, you know, even if you fit in one of these 4 pillars, if our personalities maybe don't line up, that's okay. That's okay too, because I still want you to succeed in life, you know? So maybe it might be better with another coach. Like, I still want to see you reach your goal, but if our styles don't match, then that's fine.
That's fine too.
That's okay.
Very true.
So yeah, I think this is kind of who Sound Mind Strategies is. This is who we work with. These are the people that we want to work with, and we hope that they would want to work with us.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, that was good. It feels nice to get this out and have developed kind of where our niche is. So it's kind of like that's how things evolve, right? You kind of go into it sometimes head first, like trying to do it all, and then it's like, okay, pull back a little bit, and where do we really need to start from?
So if this sounds like you, if you feel like you're one of those 4 main pillars and you have a high motivation and ready to work and ready to see change in your life, reach out. You can contact us. Go to the website, soundmindstrategies.com, click on that contact us link, shoot us an email, and let's set up a time to chat.
Yeah.
That first session, that complimentary session, is on us. We want to get to know you. We want to hear a little bit about you, what your goals are, and let's just set something up. And we can't wait to see change in your life and positive change and improvement. Whether you're the athlete, the nutritionally minded person, that entrepreneur, or if you're in that struggling relationship, you know, please reach out, and we can't wait to help you and get you started on that path. So, other little housekeeping thing, like the website is changing. We are making some tweaks not tweaks, but like a total revamp. So I know I said a couple weeks, it's taking a little longer. I think it's not necessarily that we're dragging our feet. It's just that we're being very picky.
Yeah, it's very hard building like your website.
Yeah.
Something I never thought about much. So
we are very happy with the gal that's helping us.
Oh yeah,
so
definitely.
It's just taking some time. So be patient on that. But all the links still work. So be patient, and thank you for your patience on that. And then also, there's going to be some changes to the podcast. I ordered some new equipment, and I haven't got it yet, so that's kind of why the delay on that. But still very much looking excited to get that and play with that. And
so it's coming. Yeah, lots of new things coming.
Thank you, everybody. If you found this podcast helpful in any way, please rate it, review, share it with your friends. That helps us out a ton. That gets our podcast out in front of other people and grows the channel. And it's so vital for us. This is a huge platform for us, and we really enjoy what we're doing.
Yeah, we do.
So we thank you for that. Thank you for all the people that are sharing and are commenting and and leaving us ratings and reviews. That's so very helpful on across any platform that you find these podcasts. So we want to grow the podcast. We want to shoot up those charts and get it in front of, I guess not in front of, into the earbuds of others. So
right, yeah.
Yep.
Well,
all right.
awesome.
I guess with that, we'll wrap it up, and I guess we'll see you in the next one.
Sounds good. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.